question for you. Is marriage overrated?
Why aren't people getting married anymore?
A new Pew Research poll found that 2 in 5 young adults think marriage is an outdated tradition.
Marriage rates are at their lowest right now.
Is marriage really even worth it?
More than half of marriages end in divorce.
If you get married, you have to be stuck with this person for the rest of your life, right? That's why you get married. So that's why it's declining. Why would you get married if you want to have just one partner when you can have multiple?
Marriage is stupid.
Welcome to the Married AF podcast, the self-proclaimed greatest marriage relationship podcast in the world. My name is Matthew Powers, alongside my beautiful wife, Monica. We are your hosts for Married AF. Baby, how you doing?
I'm doing real good because I like when you wear that shirt.
That flex my arms so you can look at it.
Shows all the definition in your arms.
I don't have to wear this shirt every
flexing.
day. I need to buy more of these suckers.
Please.
Absolutely. Consider it done. Welcome everyone to the show. Thank you for listening, for downloading, for subscribing, liking, watching on YouTube has been unbelievable. Just all of the things that you guys do. We're thankful for it. We're happy to be a part of this and happy that you're along for the ride with us. Hope everyone had a great Labor Day. Was yesterday. Yeah, hot dogs, hamburgers. Went to the beach, the lake. I'm sure that's what people do. College football is amongst everybody, at least in the South. I know that has kind of taken over the world. But we're here. We're here for your relationships. We're here for your marriages. We have a little bit of a Q&A today. I know everyone loves a Q&A. So we got some questions that my amazing wife and her dance moves are going to answer today. And I'm going to have nothing to do with it. But I will say this. Today's a very sad day.
Why?
Because this today is the final day we will ever record the Married AF podcast in this room.
I kind of got a little excited for a second.
We're moving.
No, we're not moving.
We're moving locations of where all this is. And
I'm
we're
tired
moving
of these lights being in the office and I have to go around and step all over the thing.
We're moving to the basement that was finished, kind of making it our pseudo studio. We're getting some things ready for that. I hope especially all of you watch on YouTube, you will enjoy the new aesthetic. No, it is not over. We're just no longer recording in this room. It is a sad day. We're no longer recording in here. This was the first home.
You're sad?
A little bit.
Okay.
It's the end of a short period, not an era, but a short period.
We did the living room for a minute.
Like literally a minute, like
Because
60 seconds worth, and it just didn't work.
60 seconds worth.
But we're back.
A few in there.
We did, but we're back here and have been for.
Why did we do that?
To change things up. I don't know.
I thought there was something going on. We're doing. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Doesn't matter. We're moving to the basement. Been relegated to the dungeon. So,
I love our basement. It's not a dungeon.
No,
it's as cold as a dungeon.
It's one of my favorite places in the house. It is freezing cold. It's like 62 degrees down there. It's amazing. It's about 7 or 8 degrees cooler than what the upstairs is at all times, and it's incredible.
And everybody freezes down there, but I'm like,
I love it.
Is it not as cold as it usually is? Maybe I'm just hormonal.
No comment. No comment from Powers on that one. Keep quiet. But we're moving. So this will be the last one you ever see from this office. Most likely. Never say never, but highly unlikely we're ever back in here. So
flashback or something.
I don't know. Flashback episode. But I got a Q&A for you today. Have some people who are asking some questions.
What are they asking?
That need your answers. Are you ready?
I don't know if I'm prepared.
I don't know if you're prepared. Actually, you're not prepared. You haven't heard these yet.
I don't have a clue.
But your wisdom is much better off the cuff whenever you just, boom, think of it and let's go. So, number one.
All right.
My husband and I decided together that he needs to lead more. Advice on how I take a step back. She says, my husband is the most sweet, fun, patient, pure man I've ever known, and I love him so much. He struggles with remembering tasks like RSVPing to a friend's wedding, paying a toll from a road trip, setting up a meeting we agreed on doing with a church elder, or calling our pastor back about something important. I don't like reminding him, but he asked me to remind him, and I said I would help him get better. I was extremely skeptical because then he's still just relying on me to tell him and faces no consequences because I always step in before the deadlines. Before I submitted to this idea of reminding him, it's been a few months and it's not gotten better. We talked about it, both agreed that reminding him is basically me still leading him in these things that makes me feel like I'm his mom, and that is not attractive. We decided that I'll take a step back and he will take more of the mental load, decision making, and initiating. My question is, how far back do I step? I basically make sure everything in our relationship gets done. It's a massive list in my head of things that need doing. Do I just mention them? I will, of course, take care of duties we agreed on. I work from home, so I do the majority of the cleaning since it's only an extra few hours a day. But I do not act on any shared ones. I usually always do so he can feel the pressure of stepping up a little bit and at least mention them. We haven't even been married a year, and there's been some resentment built yet, but I refuse to allow it to build. I want to fix this now. How far back do I step? So she essentially, and I get it, is having to remind him and tell him everything that he ever needs to do. Feels like his mom, not the greatest thing. What do you suggest?
I see two things.
Okay.
I see her side of, oh my gosh, I need to step back and let him do this. I said I would do this. And she is. But I also see, sounds like you're a control freak.
Could be a little bit.
You got to make sure everything's done. You got to do this. You got to do that. And if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. My advice, stop reminding. Let him fail.
I love that advice. Let him fail. Failure is the only way for us to
It's a mistake.
improve.
You learn from mistakes.
If he doesn't RSVP, or he doesn't set a meeting, or he doesn't call someone back, or he really doesn't do anything, what's the worst that's going to happen? That little thing doesn't get done. The worst thing that's not going to happen is someone's not going to die. You're not getting a divorce because of it. There's nothing catastrophic is going to happen because he forgets to do something. I totally agree. Let him fail. You are a team. You work together. You have to let him fail. Even if you know it's supposed to be done, don't remind him. This is the only way that he's going to get into the habit of, hey, I need to be better about these things. And there's different tools. If it is meetings and a schedule, create a schedule. Have a calendar.
Share a calendar.
You
do.
You have the written calendar. Share a Google Calendar. You can share your calendars amongst each other.
Create reminders
for each other.
Each event.
Yes, and use tools like that. But I agree. You have to let him fail. You have to let him miss some of this stuff because that's going to be the only way that he truly begins to get better. Otherwise, he's always going to say,
make yourself crazy for trying to do all of the things.
Well, that. And secondly, he is always going to be like, she'll take care of it. Mm-hmm. And that's where your resentment builds in. And I know neither of you want that, but that is what's going to happen. You have to let him falter here and fail.
Stop being his mother.
Exactly. Don't be his mother. Be his wife. He don't need another mother. He needs a wife. And she even says, it's not attractive. No, it's not.
No.
At all.
If I had to be your mom, I wouldn't find you attractive.
No, it's not something. So
mothers and sons are not supposed to be in
that type of relationship.
Intimate relationship.
I agree. Let him fail. Let him fail a few times and things will begin to get better. Continue to talk about it, but let him fail. Next one, infidelity before marriage. Not quite probably where you're looking to. I have a friend who cheated on her now husband before they got married. She never told him. He has no clue. 1, would you say the marriage is doomed? 2, do I say something?
Why are you involved? Why is that your business? That's stupid.
It's definitely not.
It sounds like you might be the one she cheated with.
Ooh, odds are that was it. If you're
probably not, but either way,
if you're Vegas,
stay out of that business. If he don't know, out of sight, out of mind in that situation, and they weren't married.
Yeah, I would be curious, like, was this happen the day before the wedding, or did this happen like after they first met?
Is this hours before they were to say I do?
Now, it'd be best if she had come clean beforehand.
Why don't you talk to your friend about it before you go to the
man,
spouse?
unless she wants it to be done.
And maybe she really wants a spouse.
And she wants him.
There's got to be alternative motives for you to continue to have a guilty conscience if you are going to continue to pursue this.
Yeah, I don't think this is something you need to get involved with.
Get a hobby.
If it is eating at you this bad, you need to talk to your friend, not the husband, your friend. Would I say their marriage is doomed? Absolutely not. Now, holding on to a secret like that, yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be hard for you to be friends with this friend anymore.
Oh, well, for their marriage, that's going to be it's going to rear its ugly head at some point in time. It just is.
Obviously, she's past it and not worried about it.
It will rear its head, but if it's something that bothers you that much, then you definitely need to talk to your friend about it.
You're going to cause a divorce. That's not necessary.
Didn't have to be that way.
Next.
At all. Next one.
Sorry if that pissed somebody off.
Oh, I'm sure it definitely would piss someone off.
Just answering.
Stay out of people's business. Mind your own business. Work on what you need to work on. Talk to your friend. This couple is caught between two churches. Backstory. We go to a small church. We'll call it Church A. And COVID nearly killed it. It is starting to come back, but our youth group is non-existent. Our pastor said it is fine if we go to another church, Church B's youth group, because my 14-year-old wanted that community. Totally on board with that. Get that. Fast forward. Our son is totally connected in Church B. We have been going to both church services because his youth group builds off the sermon. My son and I have been totally refreshed and fed from this new church, and now my son is on fire for the Lord. Our old church is struggling. Here is the rub. We were both serving a lot at Church A. My husband is even an elder, and I was on staff for about a year, but talked to the pastor about being burnt out, so we had chosen to not lead or participate in anything for the next year or so.
I get that.
Now, I am wanting to get active in Church B because I need fellowship and I need to love to serve and get involved. And since I was on staff, I find it hard to sit under the leadership as I have seen the inner workings of that church, Church A. My husband hasn't given any direction to any of it. It was mentioned that he would reach out to the pastor and let him know our hearts and dilemma and go from there, but he hasn't done that, and I don't want to be a nag. It is clear that I want to leave Church A and start fresh at Church B. My husband enjoys Church B, but just wants to attend and not serve. If you have any insight to this, I don't know what to do. I want to honor my husband and do the right thing, but it's hard because my son is getting so much out of Church B and I can't be in limbo.
Okay. That's an easy answer.
Elaborate on that, because I know you have a lot of thoughts and feelings, and even some, you can relate to some of this.
Is she still employed by Church A?
She is not.
Okay. But she's going to Church B now, where her son is getting filled.
Yes, but she's also attending Church A with her husband too.
And
her husband goes to both of them too.
He could carry either way. But he's still an elder at Church A.
He is.
Okay. Here are your priorities: God, spouse, children, church. If your husband does not want to serve at Church B, fine. He can be doing other things. You don't just have to serve at church. An hour on a Sunday just to show up and serve, you are not really serving. You need to be serving throughout the week, all the time, because our life is not about us. Mm-hmm. If your priorities are in order, you would know that this is the easiest, most simple decision. Go to Church B.
I lean that way.
I understand why you were not into Church A. You've seen all the stuff. You've been part of it. And maybe because you know too much, you kind of feel like you need to stay there. But your husband's on board either way. He can still be an elder. But if it's failing, when it does fail, where are you going to go? But your son's already over here and your Church A has already said, yes, please go. Do that.
If that's where your son's getting fed,
We
yes.
at Cultivate Church are very transparent on find the church that's right for you.
Yeah, we understand.
If we
that-
are not it, please find someone. And even on a Sunday morning, we even say you have passed a lot of great churches to get here, and we thank you for being with us. That doesn't mean you have to be with us.
Yeah, though we fully believe that, hey, if this is just a temporary stop, that's fine. The importance is being somewhere. And, we operate with the mentality, hey, if this is not your flavor, if you are not just, you're not feeling like you're not feeling the presence of the Lord, you're not being fed, you're not able to better develop your relationship with the Lord, whatever that is, we will help you find some spot, because the biggest thing is people developing that relationship. You said it, God, spouse, kids, church. For this couple, they need to be where they are growing spiritually with the Lord the most. Period. That is the only answer to this. If church B is the one that is you're really developing and you're being more intimate with Jesus and you're understanding that relationship more, that's where you need to be. If church B is just cool and hip and the son's friends go there, continue to go to youth group there. Continue to let him be a part of that. But if you're truly getting fed and being discipled at church A, then that's where you need to be. You need to have that conversation together of where are we bettering our relationship with the Lord? And that is the only answer. So what if you know the inner workings of church A and you don't like it?
If you don't like it, then why are you still attending?
Well, not even that. If you just don't like the way some of the things are done, but you are being discipled and you're growing with the Lord there, that's where you need to be. And you need to have that tough conversation with God. Like, God, why am I feeling this way? God, reveal something to me to help me not feel this way. If you know you're getting fed there and you know you're being built up there, it's an easy decision. It's not an easy decision, but it's a simple decision. Where are you developing your relationship with God the most? And that is where you need to be.
And how much have you prayed over this situation? If you're reaching out, asking this question, you need to ask yourself, are you asking God what you should do? But if God is number one, you would have already done that.
Totally agree, because he's got to be number one in this situation. Completely has to be number one. So I truly think that the easy answer is where's the relationship with God being developed the most? And wherever that is, whether it's church A, it's church B, it's church C. I don't know. Being at church is super important. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's not about showing up for an hour a week and serving.
Not to be seen while you serve.
No, it's about the other 6 days of the week, the other times. Our jobs and our spheres of influence are the greatest mission field. It's not the church. The church is a great place to be. It's a great place to be discipled, to develop relationships, to be in community, to get your cup filled. But it's what we would do with that matters so much.
The church is not just four walls.
No, it is us. It is the people. And what you're doing Monday through Saturday, that matters equally as much as what happens on a Sunday, because you're able to really go out and have conversations with people that would never step foot in the church. You're able to live your life out loud for people who would never step foot in the church, where they look at you, and it's not going to be an overnight thing, but years may go by and there's just, man, there's something, what is up with that person? What is going on with them? And that's when you're able to really do what the Lord has asked you to do. So simple answer, where are you developing your relationship with God the absolute most? It's where you got to be. It's where you got to go. I got just a couple more for you. You ready? I was in a Zoom meeting for work with the camera on. My husband walked by naked. I tried to hide the fact that he was there by putting my thumb on the webcam and yelled, "Jason, I'm in a meeting. You're naked. Get out of here." But forgot to mute my microphone. So the whole team heard that too. I am horrified. My husband doesn't think it's a big deal. How in the world do I get past it?
I'm with the husband.
It is what it is, you know?
It's hilarious.
It's absolutely hilarious. That's one of the things work from home does. You know,
If you didn't make an announcement, hey, I'm about to be on a call. Don't walk through the house naked. You can't blame the guy.
nope, not at all.
And he's probably very proud of him naked.
If he's walking around the
so
house naked, he's probably very proud of
he's
himself
like,
when he's naked.
who cares?
I found that one very, very, very funny. Get over it. Who cares? Nobody cares.
So what?
Nobody
Are you going to lose
cares.
your job because you said that out loud? No. I guarantee you the people that were also not muted were laughing hysterically.
Listen, if the CNN news anchor guy during COVID, when all this stuff went to home and cameras at their homes and everything, can be on camera on TV and forget to turn his camera off and then give himself the old jerkity jerk while the camera's on and keep his job, then you know what? I think you're going to be all right.
I didn't know that.
Yes. I forget the guy's name, but he's still employed. Saw his job with CNN. But
I bet he has his own
he gave himself
website that people get paid for those things.
He gave himself an old tug right there on camera for everyone to see. So it's all right. Get over it. No big deal. Who cares? All those people have seen what is there. It's not that big of a deal. They're newly engaged. Hi, everyone. My partner and I are getting married in May of 2025. We're excited to start this new chapter of our lives together. We know marriage can come with its own set of challenges and joys, and we would love to hear any advice on how to be able to get through some of that and what to be able to expect. What are some tips for maintaining a strong and healthy relationship? What are some pitfalls we should be aware of and try to avoid? How do you handle conflicts and ensure good communication? Whenever we have children, what kind of dynamic does that create? We appreciate any insights and stories you may be able to share. So they're just wanting advice of what are tips on maintaining a good, strong, healthy relationship.
Why are you so worried about things that are not even close? Go do premarital counseling.
I was going to say the same thing.
You learn a lot, at least through the program that
Prepare and Rich is a great place to start because they peel back every layer of everything.
I mean, we've seen people not know those things about each other, and they've been married for years. It was very open, and you're vulnerable in those situations. And when you're vulnerable, you kind of just word vomit, and there it is.
There it is.
Premarital counseling.
Premarital counseling is key. How do you handle conflicts and ensure good communication?
We can
it's just that
take care of that for you, too.
You strictly just
We
communicate.
can do that through Zoom.
So we can do that through Zoom.
We will not walk through the house naked.
That's not going to happen. If you're looking for that, well, you got bigger fish to fry in that situation. Ensure good communication is strictly that. Just communicate with each other. Talk to each other. Every couple we've ever talked to, every problem, it always boils down to communication at the end. That's the biggest part of it. That is the root cause to every issue that I've ever seen is in good communication.
I mean, we've seen couples that are off the charts in their faith and their belief, but be completely negative in the communication area.
Mm-hmm.
I just find that mind-boggling because how can you have so much faith in someone you literally cannot see and pray to them, but when you have someone in front of you physically, you have no whatsoever communication.
No idea what to say or how to say it. That's very true. That's a very tough one. And I don't know why that happens. I don't understand. I think maybe it's kind of goes to the the idea of the web muscles we have. It's easier to not do things face to face because we're not going to have to deal with that initial reaction potentially, or what we've thought a reaction may come. It's usually never as bad as what you built up in your brain for it to be. And maybe that's part of the reason why. But the whole idea is communicate and communicate well. Communicate well, communicate often. And that's the main tip for maintaining a strong and healthy marriage. Communicate, put Jesus first, God, spouse, kids, church, job,
everything else,
all the other stuff in that aspect. Easiest thing to do. I got two, really one left, and then one statement that I think you'll like and totally agree with. We have a husband who
we have a husband.
Get out of here with that nonsense.
You
woman.
said it. Who is the we?
There is a husband. No, I'm just saying that there's a husband.
Okay.
Not we. This is not Mormon sister wives type situation.
I ain't answering questions for you. You stupid.
Nope, not.
I don't care how many friends that just might have lost me or your YouTube people have gone now because I said that's stupid.
We're not about that life at all. Yeah, no, we do not have a husband.
Don't share.
We don't have a husband for sure. None of you should have. No two people should have the same husband, or three people, or four people, or five. It doesn't work that way at all. All right, so there is a husband.
Okay, let's go. That's way better.
Who husband and wife essentially who are involved in the church, and their kids seem to not really understand the relationship with Jesus. They're teenagers. They seem to be rebelling against it, and they really want them to be able to have a relationship with Jesus. How in the world do they get to that point?
That's an easy answer too. Obviously, if they're rebelling and not seeing and having that connection that you want them to have, they're not seeing you live out your connection. I am hardcore against pushing my children into believing something that they don't.
I agree.
Do I want them to? And this goes for anybody. And there are people out there, there is one God, and that's the only God. I believe that Jesus Christ, God, the Holy Spirit, they are the Trinity. They are 3 in 1. They are one. There is one God that is over all the other gods, and that's the God I serve. But the Bible also says there are other gods. Do I believe that there are other gods? Absolutely. But I do not believe they are the God. I want to pray to the God. I want to be with the God above all other gods.
The creator of the universe.
Exactly. I'm not going to push my God onto somebody. I want them to see. I pray for our kids when we drop them off at school every morning that they are the light in the darkness in everything that surround them, and people see that they are set apart and want to know why, and that opens up a conversation for Jesus's name to be brought up.
I totally agree.
If you are not living your life on purpose for Jesus, and no one sees the way you want your children's lives to be radically changed and have that relationship and that connection, if you're not living it out yourself, there's no way they're going to follow in your footsteps. Our children see how we are, that we live the same life at work, at church, at home, the ballpark, coaching, all the things we do. We are the same people.
I agree with that. I think it's mostly you have to be authentically in love with Jesus and walk through that every moment
100%
of every day. And yes, there are going to be times where they rebel. There's going to be times when they don't get it. And this goes for anybody who you come in contact with. There's going to be people who do not understand what Jesus is all about and how you could believe in something like that. But we show people just by the way we live. We show people by loving those people and being kind to those people, being empathetic and compassionate towards those people. And that's all you can do, whether it's with your wife, your kids, your people you work with, your friends, whatever. I think one important thing to realize is whenever we focus on the relationship with Jesus, we have to know that it flows through me. It's not from me. I'm just going to be a vessel for you, God, and you use me however you decide. It's not from me. It just flowed through me. I was the fortunate enough one who you chose in this path with this person, and I'm going to let anything that you want flow through me. And I get there's times where you you doubt. There's times where you don't feel it. There's times where you're like, God, where, like, are you there? Like, where have you gone? Have you completely abandoned me? And that's the importance of having people in your life who are so authentic, who love you, who don't want anything from you. They only want to see things for you. And that is understanding that, hey, it's not from me at all. It is strictly through me. I'm just going to let Jesus work through me, and that's going to be it. And that's all that it takes. And it's not quick. It's not easy, but just being obedient and being faithful in that, you will see the fruit of that labor at some point in time. May not be on this planet, but it may be that time you get in heaven and Jesus is like, hey, you remember so-and-so? Remember whenever you thought not? Remember whenever you doubted? Well, because of you, he made it.
Yes.
That's all we can hope for.
And how much love and respect are you giving those children, especially teenagers? Because if you're not giving them that love and respect, they're not going to respect you. And of course, they're not going to do anything you want them to.
No, they're not.
It makes me think of young Sheldon. When he is hardcore, does not believe in God. But every Sunday morning, he's at church with his mother.
He is.
And he even says in one episode that he goes and lives with, I think, 2 professors that are also atheists. Mm-hmm. And they sit down for dinner, and he just reaches out his hands to hold hands to pray. And they're like, why would you do that if you don't believe? Because I love and respect my mother, and that's what she does. And he was instantly ready to go back home.
And it's those are the things that you don't see. And it's hard to see that those seeds are being planted. But by doing it every day, being faithful even when you don't want to, continuing to try and serve Jesus even when you don't feel like it, to try and just worship and praise him when you don't want to, those are when the moments when it pays off, when you think it does not matter, this isn't doing anything. It takes time to reflect, but those are the seeds you're planting that you never know about.
Yep.
And that's my advice there. Just be the vessel. Last one. Guys, take pictures of your wife. I know you guys are told you don't take good pictures, and maybe you don't remember to take pictures most of the time in everyday life, but please do. Especially when she has gotten ready, when she looks nice, and especially when you have kids. It'll be sad later on when you look back and there's hundreds of nice photos of you and the kids, but none of her. I totally agree with this. I can see it in some sense because I'm awful at taking photos. But take pictures of your wife and kids when y'all are experiencing things and you're having fun. Your wife needs to be a part of that too. I think most men don't take pictures. It's always the wife who is making sure to capture a moment, snap a picture. I know you and I are both not great at it. You are much better at it than I am. But
you are literally the reason why we have pictures of Big Poppy throwing our son a baseball.
I got one right.
The reason why we have pictures of Mookie Betts on his rookie season with the Red Sox giving our son a high five and autograph. None of that ever went through my mind. We are in the moment kind of people.
We most certainly are. But I do agree that there are moments, and not to, we went to a concert the other night, and it aggravated us that there are people all around us who did nothing but film the whole thing on their phones.
The guy next to us got pissed off because his phone ran out of storage.
Yeah.
And was cussing constantly because of it.
Now, you don't need to film a whole concert. You don't need to film every little aspect of your life. But as we did, we took a few pictures, but enjoyed. I agree. Men, you need to make sure that you take pictures with your wife, of your wife and kids. The whole thing doesn't need to be documented all the time, but you do want to, because one of our Cash's favorite things in the world to do is go back on the phone and look at memories.
Yes.
And for those moments, I think it's important to be able to have those, because our son, that's his favorite thing to do every day. He wants to go on the phone, go to Amazon Photos, and look at the memories.
But I do disagree with take them when she's all dressed up.
Well, take them all the time.
That makes me feel like you only think when I'm all gussied up.
Gussied.
That's the only time you want to take pictures of me?
I would say in general, just when there are moments.
You take pictures of her when she thinks she's at her worst, but you still look at her and go, my God, I get to be married to her. I get to be right next to her when she wakes up. And then you tell her those things. So she knows that you love her, every version of her, whether she's got her lashes on, whether she doesn't, whether she's sweating at the gym or she's ready for church on a Sunday morning. All of those, she's got to know that.
And then when those memories do pop up years down the road, and she sees that, you can remind her of how much you love her.
I remember why I took this picture.
How much you love her, how much you desire her. I think that's good advice. We got to get out of here. Any final thoughts?
There's so many questions. I like them.
All righty.
Keep them coming.
We will. God, we love you. We are so thankful for what you do. We're thankful for this platform. And God, we just pray that it's yours, that we honor you throughout everything that we do, and that you just take it where you want it. Reach people who need it. Let people's hearts be open to just receive what it is that you can give them. You're the only one who provides peace in our lives. You're the only one who provides joy. And you're the only one who provides the love that doesn't make any sense at all. And God, we just pray people will be able to feel that and experience that in ways that they could never even imagine, to see life change take place. That's all we're looking for here. God, we love you and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Play ball.